I'd like to answer a very pertinent question around why a psychologist should engage in or examine things like aliens or ghosts or topics that have traditionally been considered more parapsychological. And the answer is really straightforward and obvious. A psychologist's job is to help orient both themselves and others to reality, to the underlying nature of things, and to be able to approach life and the experience of life rationally. We live in a world where, unfortunately, many psychologists, many therapists, many counselors simply validate or show empathy and compassion towards someone's delusional state, towards their misalignment with reality. And this is, in some peculiar way, supposed to embody compassion. I see only a limited usefulness to this type of compassion. It's one aspect or arm of compassion, but it isn't the entire picture. We live in a world where, unfortunately, these days, physicists are jumping on some weird conspiratorial bandwagon where they think every comet that's in the sky is some sort of alien spacecraft that might signal the end of days. Or on the other end, you have physicists and scientists who say, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who really are almost like a 90-year-old music teacher who's insisting you can only play or hold the guitar in a single way, and are simply regurgitating past information that they've been told rather than using science for its proper purpose, which is to advance our understanding of the world. So there is this giant chasm somewhere in the middle where we need to reorient ourselves and be more reasonable in how we examine some of these important topics, which are not going to go away. And clearly, looking at the discussion of UFOs, their prominence, the reality that they have been observed and recorded and seen by millions of people, and that there is substantive evidence towards their existence. We can't take either extreme anymore. We need to critically, carefully, rationally examine these things because they are real. And in order to determine their characteristics, their intentions, their function, purpose, we need to be reasonable in our approach. So this video's main purpose is to discuss the Green Bank equation. The Green Bank equation is a very measured, reasonable way of estimating how many planets in our galaxy, in every galaxy, might exist that has the potential, that could have the potential for intelligent life. I'll include an image of this as I'm sort of briefly describing it so that you can get a sense of the equation and you can write it down yourself and use your own numbers as estimates as you see fit. I'm going to use very conservative estimates. So what this means is, say, for example, within our galaxy, there are approximately, and again, this is a moderate estimate, the range might be from, say, 100 billion to 400 billion stars. So I'll use a number of 200 billion stars in our galaxy. I'll essentially cut everything in half. So all of these estimates that I'll give you across this full contemplation kind of exercise of how many intelligent beings, how many intelligent forms of life might exist in the universe. I'll cut everything in half so we can play it exceptionally safe. So in our galaxy, there are 200 billion stars. What the Green Bank equation evaluates is you estimate how many stars, you estimate from that a moderate number of planets that might exist around each star. From that, you estimate a moderate number that exist within a specific zone, like the Earth, its distance from our sun, because this allows for a certain type of life to exist, at least the type that we are aware of. Then what you do is you fractionalize that and estimate, even if a planet lives within a habitable zone around a star, what percentage might develop life. You then take that number and you fractionalize it and say, of those planets, how many might develop or evolve intelligent life and the ability to create technology. So from an estimate of the number of stars, we can create an estimate of the number of intelligent life forms or planets that might hold intelligent life. If you look at the Earth, we have a multitude of intelligent life forms on this single planet. So there is almost certainly a huge range on habitable planets where it's not just a single intelligent form of life. So within our galaxy, there are, again, an estimate of 200 billion stars. If you were to run those numbers with very conservative estimates through the Green Bank equation, you would come up with something, an estimate somewhere around 40 million habitable worlds where intelligent life has likely developed within our galaxy. That is within the Milky Way galaxy. So you can sort of get a sense of why I might find offense or get annoyed when people ask the question, is there intelligent life in the universe? This is like asking if there are fish in the ocean or if a bear shits in the woods. It's an absurd question. It isn't a question of does intelligent life exist in the universe. It's questions like, could we even comprehend the range of intelligence or the types of life that might exist? So within our very own Milky Way galaxy, there are likely 40 million habitable worlds where other forms of life take form. Now, what if you extrapolated this across the trillions of known observed galaxies in the universe? How much life might exist across the universe? The human mind can't comprehend this degree, this expansiveness. But the number, if we assume 40 million within our own galaxy, it becomes something of the magnitude of 80 sextillion habitable worlds that might exist. So this is not science fiction. This is rational scientific approach, contemplation, perspective science used towards the observable world. So we need to consider not these ridiculous, age-old, regurgitated questions of, is there intelligent life in the universe? It isn't even a question anymore. It isn't even a question anymore of, have we been visited by that intelligent life? The question is probably much more along the lines of, why haven't they directly introduced themselves? What are we doing wrong? How are we not evolving on an evolutionary track that someone might want to come to our house and visit? So let's consider some of these more reasonable estimates and this type of approach towards looking at both our place in the universe and also what potential for life might exist across the cosmos. This is one of the first discussions, the beginning chapters in my book, Xenopsychology, which looks at the possibility and range of psychological adaptations that might exist in alien life. So if this kind of conversation is of interest to you, please feel free to pick up my book. Please feel free to make a comment about your experience, either in seeing UFOs or thoughts about alien life. And also please subscribe and like this video. And I will see you at the next one.